What's up, YouTube? What's up, Billy? What's up, Jay? What's going on? This is Okchief420 making a video response to your awesome new episode 1 of That's How Game Playin' Go. That's pretty shit. That's the awesome shit right there. Great story, Billy and Jay. As I don't quite necessarily share that same experience, mine's is all equally as memorable to me. I did not own a NES when I was a kid. As you very well may know, back in the 80s, I remember us having an Atari 2600, and I played the living shit out of that system. I mean, I woke up, I turned it on, I took a shit, I turned it on. You know, it was just the weirdest things I would do just to turn on that system and play as much as I possibly could. So for years and years and years, what are you doing? You're playing 2-bit on a TV the size of a coffee table, and then, holy shit, the NES comes out, and you're like, what the shit is this? You literally would not, if you came up across one of these, you wouldn't, your Atari literally saw no more light of day. I mean, that shit collected dust. I mean, what the hell? No one ever talked about the Atari after the NES came out. And that's a sad thing, really, because now everyone's playing it and wearing their T-shirts and whatnot, and it's just sad that it took a back seat to the NES, because honestly, it was a pioneer. I mean, even before this one. So, in the 80s, you grew up, mostly everyone had an Atari, but when NES and the Sega Master System came out, you were either a Nintendo kid or you were a Sega kid. I mean, we tried having best of both worlds, but your parents had to be super ultra fucking rich in order to have both. So you had to pick, you know? So when the Nintendo first came out, I remember going over my cousin's house, whose dad was lucky enough to be his word was Vidiot. And I used to think back when I was a kid that was the coolest word ever. Why? Because it combined the word video game and idiot. Vidiot. You see what I mean? I mean, he made that term like popular. I mean, people use it now, but like he was saying this shit back in '84. So, I thought that was the coolest shit ever, and he was so lucky, my cousin, because his dad, my uncle, wound up being addicted to these video games, and every time a new game came out, guess what he was playing? So, my cousin was super ultra fucking lucky, and, for years, I begged my dad, I'm like, look at this shit, Dad, look what you got us playing, man, this 2-bit crap, when out in the suburbs, you got my cousin playing 8-bit. Dad, what the hell? And my dad would be like, in Spanish, he's like, I'm not buying you. And they would call it barato, which in Spanish translates to device. So, because he already invested in a 2600, so he's not going to invest anymore. Little did he know, he was investing way more in the future. But that's another story. Well, in '86, he actually broke down and got us a Sega Master System. I friggin' loved this system. I'm glad I chose this system, because my dad did give me the option. My dad's like, do you want the Nintendo or do you want the Sega Master System? Not in those words. I'm talking like 80s Spanish parents' words. You know? Do you want the gray one or do you want the black one, pretty much? The gray box or the black box? It's like, I want the black box. I want the black box. Why? Because Nintendo had already been out for a couple years, and I remember playing their games, and even though I was completely intrigued by all the games that I had played, except for some were really shitty, and I'll get to those in a minute. But I first remember seeing the commercial to Sega and just like blowing my fucking mind, man. I was like, what? What is the commercials? What? I couldn't believe it, you know? And right away for Christmas, you know, my dad was on it, you know, he went and grabbed this one. And so we popped it in, we played it, and it was awesome. But this isn't about the Sega Master System. This was about the first time ever playing the Nintendo. But in order to bring up the Nintendo, I had to bring up the fact that I didn't grow up with one. I grew up with the Sega. So my gameplay really didn't consist a lot of Nintendo. It really revolved more around the Sega Master System. But for the ones I do remember playing on the Nintendo would be when I would go over to my cousin's house and that motherfucker would have like Tiger Heli, Contra, Bionic Commando, A Boy and His Blob. He even had Zelda, man. Fuck, dude. I wish I had Zelda so bad. And then the gold cartridge, you're like, what the shit is that, man? Gold? This shit comes in gold? Oro? What? So, yeah, I was pretty fucking jealous. Needless to say. And my cousin was the type of person to, like, hold on to everything, like his boxes and everything. And that's kind of where I've got the box thing in my mind, because I remember he used to keep all his shit in, like, pristine condition, you know? And that's kind of where I kind of got that, you know, that sickness from, I think. So, and it's just stayed with me. But I remember summers, and it would only be in the summertime that I got to play Nintendo. Because in the summertime, there was no school. And my parents were one of those strict Hispanic parents where they were like, they not let their kids sleep over anyone's house. Let alone a band camp, Jay. No homo. I know, bro. I'm just joshing you, bro. But not really. And I couldn't sleep over. There's just some things that the Hispanic families just did not do, was just let your kid. Why? Well, why you want to sleep over there, huh? Well, what, they got better beds than we do? What, their carpet is better? You know, that type of shit, you know? So, in the summer when there was no school, the rare chances that, you know, they did let us sleep over the weekend, that was the only time I got to play Nintendo. Only time, ever. Like, literally, like, I would go a whole year without playing, but that's what makes it so memorable. Because the few times that you do remember, it's ingrained into your memory, you know? So, and I remember a quick story, taking it down to Mexico, and, see, the Chicago family, because I originally grew up in Chicago. So, all the family from Chicago on every Christmas, which I freaking hated, man, but we would drive 2 days. It would take us 2 freaking full days of driving. And then we'd get there on the 3rd day. So we would drive on our Christmas vacation down to Mexico. And the cousins from America would, you know, always get into the fights with cousins from Mexico. It was always like this band, you know, like a West Side Story type of deals, you know. And my cousin that had the Nintendo took it down there. And with all his games. And I was like, yes! I mean, if I'm going to be in a hot-ass climate with no goddamn snow, you know, which I'm so freaking used to, if I'm going to be in a hot-ass tropical climate, at least I get to play some Bionic Commando. I get to play, you know, some Blades of Steel. Do you remember that game where they would take off their gloves and be like, what's up, y'all? Come on. Bro, that was the shit. How do you... What? You get to fight in a video... For real, in Mexico, it was on. I mean, it was the Chicago cousins against the Mexican cousins, and it was like a full-on battle royale, and it was awesome. Until one of my stupid cousins started crying, and here comes old school abuelo walking through. Don't give a shit if he's got his pants on or not. He don't give a shit because he's 80 years old and he's farting his way up towards us. And the moment he hears someone crying, tell me why this old man grabs my cousin's Nintendo, don't even unplug it, just drags the TV, everything down, and takes it, walks off with him down the stairs, and we're all looking at each other like, damn. So yeah, I mean, we fucked up that year. But needless to say, my cousin's uncle, my uncle, was on it. I mean, this man ran out and got another one. And in Mexico, that shit was just unheard of. There was a lot of back alleys and exchange of services involved to reach this Nintendo, but we did find another Nintendo for that Christmas morning. I remember that clearly. So just one of those few memories that I remember of NES, you know, and pretty much sums up my memories of Nintendo, which now, I mean, I've got a library of Nintendo that I play all the time, but again, they're not as memorable as the first times you got to play them, because there's a lot of stories and memories attached to those first times, which make it memorable, as opposed to right now, if I wanted to pop in a game and if I don't like it within the first 2 minutes, like, this freaking stupid game, why would anybody invent a fucking game like this? This is stupid and retarded. It's just the most stupidest waste of money anyone can ever possibly buy. What the shit is this? I popped this in for like a minute and I was like, hell no, I got better shit to do than, I would rather pick my pube hair one by one than to play 5 minutes of this shit. Yeah, that's how bad I hate this game. I mean, it's retarded. Romance of the Three Kingdoms. What? Whatever. Yeah, some of these are the type of games that really questioned why I, went the other way with Sega. And another one I freaking could not stand playing, Skate or Die. Man, the controls on this, no. If anyone remembers playing this, back me up on this. This game sucked for controlling that character. Unfreaking real. Such a shitty game. But this is what I played back in the day, And that's what makes those memories, whether they were good or whether they were bad, they're still memories. And I'm holding on to them. So, thanks a lot for this segment, Jay and Billy, the Game Chasers. If all of you that are watching, all my subscribers are watching, if you don't know what I'm talking about and rambling on here, I'm going to leave their link to their video down below. Check out that video. If you're not subscribed to them, if you've been living under a fucking rock for like the last couple of years, the Game Chasers are the shit. So, plain and simple. If you don't know, then just step the fuck out of the room. But anyways, I'm rambling on. This is Okchief420. Thanks, Billy and Jay. You're the shit. Peace.